students, and welcome to the second webinar in the series of webinars that we have started yesterday. So that's where we are going to focus on writing skills. So as all of you are aware that we are going to have the series of webinars on writing skills, keeping specially the placement in mind. Many say companies such as CoCubes and software-based company, before conducting their interviews, they also offer some written tests or the other, in which you are supposed to write opinion-based things. You are supposed to write a small paragraph, and of course, it has to be in English. So today we are going to try and learn how do we say develop paragraph writing skills. As discussed yesterday also, I'll not be teaching you, but I'll be rather sharing with you how do we talk about paragraph writing. So what I'll do is I'll give you a paragraph to read, a small paragraph. I guess you can see it's a sample one. Please read this paragraph and let me know if you could make sense. So have a look at this paragraph, a very small paragraph, I think 5-6 sentences. And tell me your feedback. How do you find this paragraph? Okay. So there are some of you are giving your feedback. Each sentences are irrelevant. Yes. It's quite all over the place. Okay. But is it not a good paragraph? All the sentences are correct, right? Grammatically and structurally. So what's wrong in the paragraph? Yeah. So there are two kinds of feedback I can see. One is structural, another is format based. That the spacing is not proper and that. So that's the format part. But language part, if you notice, you could see that each sentence is correct, right? So there is no problem with the individual sentence; they are correct. Problem I think is that the first sentence is not connected the second, and neither with the third, fourth that way. So they all are individually correct sentences put together, and I think there are. Yes, please share the link in case some of the students do not have. Uh, So do share with them and they can join as and when possible. So please do that. Sahil, please do that. Chali. So that was the first passage that some of you find individual sentences are correct, but as a whole, it is not giving a good impression. Now let's look at the second sentence or a second paragraph, sorry, and tell me how does it read? I'm sure you can see the second passage. Okay, this one makes sense. Yes, it does. So why does it make sense? This passage, the sentences. In the previous passage also the sentences were correct. All the sentences were correct, right? So Yuvraj is saying that sentences are in proper manner. In the first paragraph, the sentences were not in the proper manner. Yes, so the word is context. As Janice said, it's a context. Sentences are meaningful. All sentences are meaningful, but they are connected with one idea. The word I think Sahil used is context. It is the context that binds all these sentences into one. Somebody is talking about, say, his or her experience of reading a novel called Sons by D.H. Lawrence. And then he's sharing that why I'm not sharing it with my friends and why did I share it with my teacher, right? So then it's a connected one. So with this, we can come to a kind of say conclusion that if we mean a paragraph, what do we mean by a paragraph? A paragraph is a group of related sentences which express one single idea or a context, right? So if it is not for one single idea or one single context, then individually sentences would be there, but because they are not connected, it will make no sense as a whole, right? Individually sentences may make sense, but as a paragraph it will not make a sense, right? So whenever you are writing, it should be for an idea, for a context in which you are talking, right? Now I'll just give you two to three say things that you should know. Let's say these components that make a paragraph. So what are these components? First is, of course, there should be some central idea around which you are weaving your writing, a piece of writing, right? Then there has to be something called topic, say sentence, and then rest of them are the supportive sentences. What do I mean by topic sentence and supportive sentences? Very simple. The topic sentence is the main sentence, right? The main idea, a sentence in which you can get the theme of writing, or a key sentence, or the sentence in which the main idea of a passage is shared. So that's called topic sentence, right? So that's one. The topic sentence can appear maybe in the beginning, maybe in the middle, or maybe at the end of a paragraph, but it is for that sentence that rest of the sentences are supporting it, right? So this is definition, this is theory, fine. I'll give you a small passage, very small passage. I just want you to read this passage and tell me what do you think is the key sentence or a topic sentence in this paragraph, right? Identify the topic sentence. Have a look at it and tell me if you can identify a topic sentence. Yeah, in the meantime, in the chat, I would request that please write down your enrollment number in the chat. So for the attendance things, it will be saved in the chat, right? So you can give your responses also, but those who are present, just put your enrollment number in the chat with your name, so that name would appear. So if you are not saved in this name, then mention name also. But I think most of you have your names, so do that. Yes. So I could see some of the responses. Param, Sahil, Keyur. Okay, so they are saying the last sentence in the passage, that is, therefore we can say that the knowledge is the say that knowledge is the currency of 21st century, right? So that, according to you, is the key sentence, for which the other sentences you can talk about Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, right, and Steve Jobs. They are what? They are examples, and these are the sentences that are supporting the main sentence that we that all of us agreed is that knowledge is the currency of 21st century, right? So that's wonderful. Now let's look at the second example. Yes, this is the right answer you gave. Now look at this say passage, and if you can identify a topic sentence in this passage. Yeah, you can have the disagreement with the author, but according to the author, knowledge is the currency of 21st century. You may disagree with Bill Gates, Param. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, for this second passage, what do you think? The the key sentence or a topic sentence for which the write-up is written. Yes, I could see the answers. So okay, so the first sentence, right? Yes, so Param, Sahil, Janice. Okay, so these are the ones that yes. So you may start with a topic sentence, you may end with a topic sentence, right? So these are the two ways in which one can think of developing any paragraph. So with these two examples, we may think of the process of writing, that unlike speaking, writing has to have planning, writing has to have translating it. When I say translating, is not from one language into another, but from idea into sentences, right? So first of all, you got an idea that, I have an opinion, I have some likings and disliking, I have a procedure in which I took a decision, right? So those ideas you have, which are very abstract and random, right? When you put it on paper, right? So there is a planning, there is an idea. When you put it on paper, you will see that it will not be the same as you thought of, because putting it on paper means translating your ideas into a language, right? Once you do it, then you review it, that okay, does it make sense, does it convey the idea that was there in my mind, right? So that's the process of writing, which is not possible with speaking, right? Speaking is spontaneous, and speaking is usually not planned, is not say designed in a way that it looks organized. It's only writing that will look organized, but you will have to put some efforts to make it organized, right? So there, based on two examples we just say discussed, you will be able to see two approaches or two general rule in which you can think of writing anything. One is, see, key sentence or a topic sentence is the most important one. So you may either start by giving general information, or you can start with general say background, based on which you come to a topic or a key sentence. Other opinion could be, you first of all give that, the vacations are the best period for in a school going child's life, right? So this is what your sentence is, and then you prove by giving supporting statements. So it could be one, general to particular, or particular to general. So when you write, you need to be clear with your idea that you should have. Then you think of a topic sentence, and then you think of supportive, say, things that you will give to prove or to justify your topic sentence. So when you write, these are the two, broadly speaking, say, a general rule or techniques that you can apply from general to particular and particular to general. That is, you give background first and then you come to the key sentence, or the opposite, where you start with the key sentence and then you give the related supporting the statements. Right now, I'll give you a very simple tricks which are already there. If you read any good piece of writing, you will see either of these techniques used while writing. So, for example, the terms such as illustration, comparison and contrast, cause and effect, classification, and problem and solutions. They are very self-explanatory, but still, I'll just explain in a minute or two. When we say illustrate, you must have heard the term called illustrated guide. When we say illustrated guide, means something that explains with example, right? So illustration is that how to operate, let's say, a cell phone, right? So they'll give you an example, and by following that example, you can operate anything. Or I want to explain an idea. In order to explain my idea, I'll give an example. For example, say hard work is the best, say, way to get a success, and then you give an example of a person who did a great, say, hard work, and at the end of it, he achieved success. So you'll say, okay, with this example, we can prove that that if you work hard, you will definitely get success. So that is illustration. You explain your idea with an example, right? Second is comparison and contrast. You take two, say, piece of information, let's say two products, two books, two websites, maybe two courses, and then you give relative merits of these two, and then you make a comparative analysis, and then you give these are the things that are similar in these two products, books, or say, things, and these are the things that are contradictory. So those, say, comparison and contrasts, you will be able to see in paragraph. So that technique can be used. Another very popular is cause and effect. You talk about cause and then its effect. Let's say global warming, right? So global warming is an effect. What are the causes of global warming? Then you say pollution and the kinds of lifestyle that we are leading, that because of these lifestyles, it end up becoming an effect, which is a global warming, right? So that's one. The other very popular method is called classification, right? So you classify your piece of information. You say, okay, friends, I'm going to tell you something about engineering, right? So in engineering, you have civil, mechanical, chemical, IT, etc. So let me tell you something about mechanical first, couple of information. Then you say, okay, I'll tell you something about civil engineering, then a piece of